right, we're here. We're good.
We're good.
All right, Saachin. Again, how are you?
I am very well.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just hating myself, looking at myself in the TV. It's
Yeah.
just a nice big TV too.
Yeah, it's big, so if you really dislike yourself, it'll
Yeah,
be
I can really see everything that I hate about myself right
every
now.
detail.
Expanded, like zoomed in right now. It's just
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
even the way I'm sitting, it's just my hands.
It's just bothering you.
But it's just bothering me. It's like, how does anyone exist? Like, I should cover myself up.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I remember I was trying to be like an extra for something. I don't know what it was. Really. It was like a Craigslist ad. It could have been porn. I have no clue.
Hey, listen. Extras in porn, though?
A fluffer? Is that what they call them? The fluffers?
That's the guy behind the camera, no?
No, that's the girl. That's the girl that comes in and like gets the dude ready.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But that's behind the camera. That's like between takes.
Yeah, they don't film it.
Oh, man, if that'd be great if like it would be like on camera fluffer.
Yeah.
It's just like
camera
it's not hard
fluffer.
enough. No. I just gotta fix it.
The guy's just like looking down. Come on.
Like I believe like the fluffer must be like really mechanical, going about it. Why isn't it getting hard?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a tough job. That's a unsung
tough
hero.
job. Yeah, you gotta be passionate about a job.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't pay you. I think it's safe to assume
Yeah.
that that's a minimum wage job.
Oh, you think? You don't think more?
I don't think more.
Really? There's a lot of porn.
Yeah, and then there's a lot of porn stars.
Yes.
Like someone would be ready to be a fluffer on camera, just to be like, I'll make more money if I have to just be like fluff people on camera.
On camera. Yeah. You get a little bit more pay.
Yeah, you just like I have to
It's
do
like a bring your own thing. Like you bring your own fluffer.
That
Ooh.
could be one.
Yeah, you have like a handler.
Yeah, Rob's my guy. He's just you gotta take him. Yeah, he just knows how to do it.
He uses this very specific tea tree oil on his
Yeah,
hands.
his palms are just like the right contours.
They're not rough.
Yeah, they're rough in places. They're rough in places where I want them to be.
Yes,
And not
yeah.
rough.
You just got to be on your own accord. It can't
Yeah,
just
right.
be willy-nilly.
A fluffer must be like even more crucial to porn than the porn stars themselves.
It's like a busboy in a
Yeah.
restaurant.
Exactly right.
You don't think of them, but you need them.
Yeah,
There's
you
shit
do.
all over the table, and
Yeah, we're off to a great start. I
yeah,
must say.
this is good.
Just right away getting into fluffing. That's perfect.
Yeah. It seems like the weather has turned though. You pulled up sweat and storm.
Yeah, I mean,
That hair's got to be a motherfucker though.
oh, it is. Yes, yeah, it is. I've been growing my hair for like 2 years now,
Yeah.
and every summer I'm like, maybe I just don't need long hair.
Yeah.
But then it's become my identity now. Just I don't know what to do if like I don't have anything to, like that's an icebreaker for most people. Like it's like, oh, you got great hair. I'm like, oh, thank you.
Yeah. Right. That's something
Yeah.
to talk about.
I never
Off rip.
remember anyone going before this. Anyone ever going, hey, so
Yeah.
just like
yeah.
struggling to find
Something
the
to talk
thing.
about.
Yeah, that would happen a lot. Like, so you're from India, and like that gets old very often, very, very, very soon.
Oh, I would bet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Got
That
all
being
that
like
from-
the first thing people bring up.
yeah. Where are you from?
Or
by the way?
close to it. My mother is Italian and my dad is Portuguese.
Oh, wow.
So racism, race.
You're
Not
from
my
racist.
parents, but
Hey, that would have been crazy if your parents were just like racist to you. Look at this mixed race motherfucker.
yeah, we fucked up. We can't even speak the same language in the house
Yeah.
around this guy.
So like, I'm Portuguese, and where do they meet? Like in Europe or here?
No, here where I'm from in Rhode Island. Rhode Island is very Portuguese and Italian.
Oh, really?
Yeah, specifically from the Azores. I don't know if you've ever heard of the
Azores?
Azores.
What are those? Educate me.
It's the islands off the coast of Portugal. So
Okay.
there's like I think 7 islands, and it's like a 4-hour flight from there to Rhode Island.
Gotcha.
So all the people that emigrated from the Azores
Yeah.
to America, most of them go to
Rhode Island.
or Massachusetts.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Two of the most racist places.
Yeah, exactly. They fit
Rhode
in.
Island is not that racist, right? It's like
I don't think so.
it's the hippies. Is it? No, I have no idea what
It's-
Rhode Island is like stands for.
It's pretty liberal. It's pretty liberal.
Oh, yeah?
It's a pretty liberal place. It's also the worst state for doing business.
Oh, really? Why?
Ranked like across the board Rhode Island's the worst.
Why is that? Because there are Italians there, or
it was actually better when the Italians ran things. If we're being
really?
honest,
yeah,
we started.
America
off saying I was
used to be
racist.
great when Italians. I don't. Has there been an Italian president even? No,
No, not even close.
No, right?
Not even close. I don't think an Italian president.
has there been an Italian
No,
president?
look it up. I don't think there's ever been one. Let's find that. Has there ever been an Italian run for president?
I thought like Al Capone was Italian, right?
Yes,
He ran things for a while.
he did. Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to say. They ran things in a different way.
Yeah.
You know,
What was that like?
illegally.
Ah.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
what is legal? What is illegal? Like that's the thing, right? It's like I used to think like legal, illegal is based on grounds of morality.
Yeah.
But then now it seems like it's based on interest, right? Like most laws are based on how much benefit the government will kind of get from it.
Totally.
Right? That could be like a conspiracy theory kind of thing that I'm saying, but fuck it, it's a podcast. That's what
That's
you're supposed
true.
to do.
Yeah.
But it just like some of the laws don't make sense, right? Like jaywalking is a thing, right?
Sure.
Jaywalking. Okay, everyone has the sense to not jaywalk when there is traffic, right? But like let's just say it's like 11 at night, and then you cross the street and there's no cars on the street. That is technically still illegal,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
But and
No one's around.
yeah, no one's around. But if someone was around and they looked at it, technically you'd be like, that is illegal.
Right. Well, there's all those weird technical laws.
Yes. Look at speed, like just the speed limit, right? If you drive according to the speed limit, people will think you're a maniac.
Totally.
That's what I've learned. Like,
Yeah.
I've never driven in this country. I don't wish to also. That's why I just stay in New York. I go nowhere.
You don't have to drive.
because I don't have to drive.
Right.
But I've been to other parts of this country, and when I was with someone and they were driving, and they were like, "Yeah, you're supposed to go like 5 to 10 clicks above
Yes.
the speed limit, because if you go at speed limit, people will honk. People will go, what are you doing? Like, that's not how you drive, it seems."
Sure. Well, when you talk about laws and pushing them,
Yeah.
that's the perfect example. Because I
Exactly.
remember learning how to drive as a kid, and my dad's like, "Come on, speed it up, speed it up." I'm like, "I'm 15 in 10 months, Dad. I got to pass this thing before we can." He's like, "But there's not a cop in the world that's going to pull you over for going 5
Yeah.
5 above the speed limit."
Hey, unless you were a couple shades darker.
That's right.
Yeah.
And my car was nice.
Yeah.
Right.
Is that weird? The nicer the car is, the more suspicious people think it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like, I think it also matters what the pigmentation of the driver is.
Yes. That's a big deal as well.
Yeah, it's just
So no Italian president.
No Italian
no
president.
Italian
But a
president.
few high-ranking government officials that are Italian, and a couple candidates. Mario Cuomo.
Of course. Forgot about him.
Mario Cuomo is who?
Cuomo. He was the governor, right, at one point here?
Yeah, he was the governor, and now he's the father of Andrew Cuomo, who was recently the governor.
Who was recently the governor
Yeah.
too. So that's like a
And the brother, too, is on TV.
Chris Cuomo
Yes.
was
Chris Cuomo's on
CNN,
TV.
yeah.
Yes, that's mafia. That's the mafia we're talking about.
And
He's
Cuomo is the
giving each other jobs.
Giuliani considered it. To
Giuliani, right? Of course,
Former
he's
mayor.
another one.
Do you remember during the pandemic, like he was accused of like kissing people, and he was like,
"I'm Italian."
That's what Italians do." I'm like, I don't think I've met Italians. They don't do that.
That's the best defense.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Supreme
Just
Court
to be like,
Justice.
Hey, I'm
Antonin
Italian. What do you-
Scalia.
What is it?
The current. Oh no, is she the current Supreme Court Justice? Antonin Scalia.
Scalia. Antonin Scalia.
That's the way to say it.
That's the way to do it. So I've told the story on here before, but since we're talking about it, back in Rhode Island, there
Yeah.
was a mayor of the capital city of Providence. His name was Buddy Cianci. I forget his real name. Raymond, maybe?
Buddy?
Buddy is what everyone would call him.
He goes by that in office.
Yeah. Exactly.
I already know where this is going. Okay.
This motherfucker got elected. Okay. Votes bought, the whole thing.
Yeah.
But people liked him.
Uh-huh.
Like the town people and people in Providence liked the guy. He took care of the place, whatever. He gets arrested for putting a cigarette out in a guy's eye that he suspected was sleeping with his wife.
Holy shit, dude.
He brought this guy into his house with the chief of police and like the what do you call like the defense attorney, I guess, for the state, the public defender, or some shit like that, the head one. And they were all in there, and Buddy Cianci's interrogating this guy. You fucked my wife. Did you fuck my wife? But the guy's like, no, he definitely did.
Is that how he you fuck my wife?
Pretty much like this with the fucking.
You fuck my wife.
Yeah, I mean, you got the pinky ring, so it's close.
Oh, okay. He had a pinky ring too?
Italians love the pinky ring.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've been told like a pinky ring is like a fuckboy uniform. It's just
Well, you got the long hair too, the beard. It kind of all goes together.
That is fuckboy uniform.
Yeah.
Just need a Monster Energy shirt.
Yeah.
Oh fuck yeah! and a like a can of liquid death.
Yeah, there you go.
It's
Or Celsius.
Yeah, it's just water, man. It's just water.
Oh, it's good water.
It's good water.
What does good water mean, man?
It tastes better.
Better than Poland Spring, really?
Yeah.
Don't
Don't bring Poland Spring into this conversation.
Yeah. Don't bring
I
garbage.
refuse to believe that. I just refuse to believe a guy who's like, you know what? Let's just call this liquid death something that you need for life. That's the most ironic part of that. But like, I continue with your.
Oh right.
Yeah.
So he got arrested for putting a cigarette in a guy's eye.
Oh my god.
And he went to jail. Came out and got reelected.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
As mayor of Providence.
I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like you said, there are Italians, and Italians are famous for loving their wives.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. They fuck whores, but they
They
love
fuck-
their wives.
They fuck gumars. But
Yes.
They
There you
love
go.
their wives, right?
Harold and Gumar.
They like their gumars and they love their wives.
That's
Like,
right.
it's lust and love.
That's right.
Come on, man. It's
Yeah.
just- but yeah, of course he's going to get elected because like that's a man who, you know,
He takes
stands
care
by
of
his
both
wife.
sides.
Yeah,
Yeah.
stands by his wife.
Stands by his
Even
wife.
though he did it through like a horrific way.
Yeah.
But also, isn't like it a tiny bit his own fault? Because if the wife is fucking someone else, then that means the wife is unhappy in the relationship.
Potentially. That could be the case.
I mean, this is, like that's the thing. We just absolve people of, like, we go, oh, it's the cheater's fault. They should never have stepped out and all
Right.
of that. But I don't want to say anything about the politician because
He's dead.
I like.
It's okay.
Oh, okay. So
He's
now
dead.
I can talk shit. About so I can talk shit about him.
His associates might be around, but
Yeah,
I
exactly.
doubt they listen to this.
I like my eyes. So I
Yeah.
would like to see
Yeah.
for the rest of my life.
Can you
So-
swim well?
Get some
I
attached
can
to you.
I can swim.
Can't?
I can swim.
Oh, can. Okay.
But I don't know. It's just like there's a limit to swimming. You know, like if you're thrown deep into the ocean, how long are you going to swim?
Yeah.
Plus, the waves have to be accounted for. Like,
Yeah.
the waves can pull you back.
Oh, totally.
So
It's horrifying in the ocean. I love the ocean, but
You
go
do?
out deep enough, it's
that's the most terrifying thing for me.
it's terrifying.
It's just like if you're dropped in the middle of the ocean, for miles there's nothing.
Nothing.
There's no water, no food you can eat, nothing.
No ground to even stand
No
on.
ground to
Yeah.
stand on. Like,
Yeah.
and think about this. Like I've seen a lot of movies where like there's a ship and like everything's blue and like you can see things and whatnot. For me, like if there's no moonlight, then it's just pitch dark.
Yeah.
And it's water, and it's not blue water.
And it's never ending.
It's never ending.
Yeah.
It's just unstable. That terrifies me. It's like 78% of the world. 78 or something. I don't know how
Some
much
shit like that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Let's
how much.
find that.
More
How
than
much-
70.
I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
it's probably more than 70, right?
That's the world.
Yeah, water.
We live in. And we haven't like even touched 1% of. We don't even know what's in the ocean.
Yeah.
Like even
Rightfully so.
we should know more, right?
Yeah. I've always said space is cooler, though.
Yeah. Why?
I've always thought space is cooler. I don't know why. It's just a person. You want to know what it actually is? I think sea creatures are hideous. Anytime I hate the aquarium. I hate. I hate
71%.
That's true.
71%. Okay.
And that's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
And
you've
that's the
justified.
sea. Forget everything else that's made up of. What about watermelons?
Watermelons is made up of.
Aren't we 70% water too?
Probably, yeah. Watermelons are like 90% water.
Oh, really?
So if you add all the watermelons plus the oceans, that's more than 70%.
More than 70. Like, so onions are also water.
There you go. You add everything that's mostly water.
Potatoes too.
That's another like 10%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, we're made up of water as well.
Yeah.
So the world is water. We live in.
Being stranded in the fucking. Have you ever seen the video of the guys that were stranded in the ice, and there's a polar bear
No.
just
that sounds
dragging
scary.
each one by
really?
one into the like. There's a polar bear on the ice over there.
Uh-huh.
He sees all three of us on this ice.
Yeah.
He jumps in the water, swims, grabs you.
Mm-hmm.
You're coming with me. Swims over to the other one, eats you alive. Comes back, grabs him.
God fucking damn it, man.
Where are you going?
Fuck.
Out on the ice.
Dude, it's just. Have you seen a polar bear eat? Ever?
I don't think
They're
so.
the most feral fucking animals.
Yeah.
All they eat is meat. They're carnivores. They're the
But
only
have
bear
you
that's
seen them
carnivore.
eat, though?
I don't think so.
Okay. Like, there's a video of a polar bear eating fish,
Yeah.
and he peels the skin off.
Yeah.
While like
it's alive.
he doesn't even let the fish die.
Yeah.
The fish is like wriggling in his hands, and he just like bites it and like strips the skin off first, and then eats the flesh.
Yeah.
It's fucking painful.
Yeah. That's what people say. Save the polar bears, motherfucker.
Nah, fuck that. But also, have you like come across that thing where like women are asked to choose? What would you prefer, a bear in the forest or a man in the forest? Like you're walking, hiking. Like, there's like a new thought experiment. That's not really a thought experiment, but it's just
Anybody that picks bear wants to die, right?
no,
Pretty
but-
much?
But that's the thing. That's
Afraid of
all
getting raped by a
women.
dude.
Almost all the women have just been like, I don't want to meet a fucking man in the forest. I'd rather meet
Really?
a bear. I'll take my chances with the bear.
Really?
Because at least I know with the bear, the worst that could happen is he eats me.
From your asshole up.
Whatever.
Like
the fuck
he's
it
gonna
is.
rape you too. The bear's gonna rape you too.
The bear is
That's
not.
the thing.
No, the bear is not.
What if he just eats a
You don't
lot
think
of
he would?
No, the bear is not.
Okay, what is a rape? If when a bear eats people, they eat them through the ass usually.
That's
That's true. Look it up.
like 2 minutes ago. You didn't even know how they eat. And like
You said polar bears. We're talking about
but
grizzly bears.
Bears
now.
are bears.
My
though.
search history is fucked.
Yeah, we gotta look this up. Do bears start at the ass? Look that when
Bear.
they eat you.
But like bear, like we saw, like this is a documentary, like The Revenant. You've seen it, right?
Of
It's
course.
just,
Great
it's just
movie.
like whatever they show in the movies is true.
Yeah.
So
Well, to be honest, those guys documentary. I get that. Those guys actually watched hours and hours
of bear footage.
of bear maulings,
But,
which is kind of crazy.
but this is the.
Well, that's based on a real story, though.
it is
that
based
is
on a
true.
real story,
Yeah.
but it was a real story in like the 1600s or something.
Yeah.
So
Hugh Glass, I
I
think
would
the
take
guy's
it with
name
like
is.
a pinch of salt. Like any story for that matter is just, if like you don't have photographic evidence.
Yeah.
Like I just don't trust anyone who says, "Oh, this is what happened. This is factual information. This is the story."
Yeah.
Everything is like the other day I was watching. Like I read somewhere that your mind like makes up things. So everything you recollect is like a version of it that you recollect. Like even if you're like for now, like I'm here right now, right? I could like look at your shirts and be like, oh, he's wearing a white shirt with blue sleeves. There's it's similar to what the shirt I'm wearing. The couch is the same. Like years later, when I'm thinking about this, I would think about it like totally differently.
Yeah.
In my mind, the images are like totally different. It's
Also,
like,
you big up the story.
Yeah.
Like you could be like, oh, us three did a podcast. And then 5 years down the road, it's like, we did a podcast and 3 bitches came over.
yeah, exactly.
And
That
then,
could happen.
Yeah.
Like that could happen. So it's like, with stories like that, I would definitely think that there is like an element of your wild imagination in there. But like bear stories, like they've said, I've seen videos of like bears like getting into like people's houses, and like a grandma just yelled at a bear and like
they run
get
off.
out and like
Some of
close the
them do
door,
that.
and they run off.
Yeah. It
That's-
does happen.
Doesn't
Yeah.
seem to be much merit to the eating your ass.
Really?
Yeah, see.
God damn it.
Bear, I mean, like
That's a
that's what women have been saying. The women are like I would 100% trust a bear to just do bear things than a human man to do, because you can't expect.
The man has been the human man has been.
Yeah.
Okay, let's read this first before I make this point.
Uh-huh.
When a bear attacks a human, it's not a common practice for them to target the buttocks specifically. Bears are opportunistic omnivores, which means they eat a wide variety of foods, including plants, insects, honey, fish, and small and large animals. In the event of an attack, a bear may bite or claw at various parts of the human body, including the back, legs, shoulders, and stomach, in search of vital organs or tissue. According to search results, a bear may take its time as it tears random mouthfuls from various parts of the body, including the back, buttocks, legs, and shoulders. However, it's essential to note that bears do not target specific parts of the body, including the buttocks, with intention of eating them. Okay. Well, ladies, I mean,
See, the
they'll
ladies
still rip you apart at the end of the day.
But you can make yourself big. Like, you can also act dead and do all of those things.
Oh, Lord.
You can't do that with... Like, think
Better
about
have a
this.
gun, not a big one. That's your acting dead.
Punching it in the nuts.
They say to punch a bear in the nose. Who's done that study?
I don't even know. It's just...
Right? Or punch
Like-
a shark in the nose. You're supposed to punch a shark.
That like some surfer's hand got like bitten
Yeah.
by a shark and she
How
punched
do you
it.
punch in the water, though?
They punched
Muhammad Ali style, under the water, the picture.
Yeah, there's like no power to it. You like, punch somebody in the water and it's just like...
Could be on the surface, no? Like she punched the
punched
eye of
down.
the shark. She punched the eye of the shark.
I guess you got to do something, right?
You gotta do like if they're like
I
chomping
feel like
on
you're
your...
more likely to like just like do one of these.
yeah, just a little. Stop it.
just splash water
Yeah.
on their eyes. Yeah.
It's like a girl's blowing you and it's too much teeth. It's just like you don't punch her right away. It's no. What I was going to say about men and the modern man is men today are constantly being told that women don't need them.
Yeah.
And women are believing that. And in a lot of the sense, I mean, there's truth to it. There is
Yeah.
truth to it because women have more autonomy than they ever have.
Yeah.
But that impact is going to create two kinds of men. And there's the one who's the incel who hates women,
Yeah.
agrees that women don't need him. And
Yeah.
that's where you get the unproductive guy, or you get the mega Andrew Tate, super masculine
There is
type guy.
I would contend that there is like a middle of the ground though. Like that's like
The
most-
middle is the good part.
Yeah, but that's
Like
that's
an
what you're
Andrew
looking
Tate
for.
that likes to get pegged.
Yeah, exactly.
Bro, I'm telling you, like the stuff we read online, like stuff we see online, everything's there for like attention and all of that.
Oh, totally.
Like most general normal people, like you'll see, like your morals are not extreme. Like usually
Yeah.
you would be like, because every human being, once you get into any sort of relationship, you're available for compromise because there's like you must have noticed that. I mean, if y'all are dating, you know that like in the beginning, it's always like there's like one major fight that happens, and then you're like, I'm not seeing that person anymore because they don't want to like work through this. And in many the relationships I've seen, the relationships I've been in, I've always seen like there is always that point, and then you work through it. Always that point, and then you work through it. So when women say they don't need men, they're basically saying they don't need people around them who are unwilling to build a relationship. And that applies for all genders. It doesn't matter if you have a horrific woman in your life who just says this is what you have to do and they're unwilling to compromise on certain things, then there's not going to be much of a relationship, is there?
Sure.
I think I need to make a phone call.
It's just the way it is. Like those men, the people who are like unwilling to change,
Yeah.
they're going to go extinct. Like because no one's going to fuck them. That's what's going to happen.
Sure.
Because like even having a kid is such a big decision. There's so much planning that goes into it. Is as much as we want to say like many people are religious and they're like, oh, we're not going to have kids, and like if the woman gets pregnant, then we have to keep the baby and all of that. Even pregnancies are getting difficult nowadays with the kind of lifestyles everyone leads.
Sure.
Like at least in India, like every time I've had like friends who are like, yeah, we're trying to have kids. For the first 2 years when they're trying, they're all like, yeah, it's difficult because like doctors have said, yeah, stress is a major factor. So even if you want to try, you gotta calm things down. You can't just get into fights and, during all times. You have to figure that out. And like it's that much. It's complex. It's not just like it's not a man in a cave anymore. That's gone. That era is over. Like many men have this assumption that you'd like, oh, we got to protect them and all of that. But how are you going to you're going to try to protect and care for a person, another person, and you don't have the means to do that. Like most men, even if you look at the statistics, like women were, when we are speaking about how many options women have, that's because in the last 20-25 years, like when it comes to education, women have also made like better choices. Like many women will be like doctors, lawyers, engineers, and all of that.
Sure.
And then they'll pursue art on the side. Well, I'm doing what I'm doing. Like I just got into this without having like a backup or anything, and I'm doing very, very well for myself. I'm kidding. I'm not doing well for myself at all. But it's just that's the way it is. I see people around me, and I'm like, yeah, there's like, for example, like in my dating life, and this is all whatever I'm talking about is probably anecdotal, a lot of it. But I've been to women's houses and they have their own apartments, and I have been with a roommate forever.
Sure.
So it's also like there are these choices that are being reflected, and you see a lot of the men becoming like dads and everything. Biologically speaking, as well, like your cortisol levels go up. That's why you like gain weight too. When you're in a relationship with a woman and she's pregnant, you also gain like daddy weight.
Sure.
So
dad bod.
Yeah, exactly. That's what a dad bod is.
Yeah.
So it's like there's evidence for it. Like, and no matter how much the Tates of the world want to say, "Oh, you're a man, you're supposed to do this," and it's not going to happen.
Sure. No, I agree with you. I agree, but that's with any ideology, right?
Yeah.
There's always going to be extremes on either side, and the more sensible version is somewhere in the middle.
Right. The
somewhere.
sensible version is what survives every time.
Yeah.
You can think about all the things that you want to like. Those people are going to go extinct, like people who are on either side of the spectrum.
Right.
If you look at it like, say, 50 years down the line, now is the time for those people to make those changes. And like many people are choosing not to have kids also.
Yes.
There is evidence that you're happier if you don't have kids.
And it's expensive.
It is expensive.
It's more expensive than ever.
Exactly.
It's always been expensive to have kids, but now it's like everybody's doing more than one job, plus everybody's doing a side hustle. Everyone's doing two jobs, a fucking side hustle,
Exactly.
a fucking, I'm trying to learn this so I can get more money at this first job, and
you're learning
you gotta
everything.
put a kid in there, like.
Plus AI is coming, so you don't know what's going to look like in 5 years.
Plus the war, that's inevitable.
Plus wars, yeah.
This place sucks. We can't.
Speaking of war, what do you think about the elections? Like, what do you think about like what's, because this is the first time I have this is my personal, I've seen like 2 elections in the US. Like in 2016 it was very polarized. Like the like New York City was more like, oh, Hillary is going to win. We don't have to worry about that.
The whole world was like that.
Yeah, and then Trump won.
Yeah.
And then it just fucking went sideways.
Dude, I remember watching that night when they announced that Trump won.
Yeah.
The people on TV
Yeah.
were like, you could see them. They turned white.
Yeah.
They're like,
Yeah, man.
this guy, like, he wasn't supposed to win.
He wasn't. He thought he
wasn't even supposed to be close.
Yeah, even he thought he wasn't supposed to. Like he didn't think he was going to win.
Yeah.
This was another Trump meatloaf sort of fucking whatever. Trump steaks. Isn't that what he was trying to sell?
Oh, right. Trump University.
Yeah, this was this.
Yeah,
that was like Trump
just for the bit.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to run just for the bit.
He ran for the bit.
And who's more dedicated to the bit than him? I don't know.
Oh man, he's dedicated to the bit. Like that's one thing I will give him. He's like he's working constantly to push his brand. He's constantly working. He's like the whole day, every time he makes an appearance, he's like, oh, this is what I gotta do. This is what
people see me.
Yeah, people need to see me. People need to hear my name.
On.
He says his name a lot more.
Yeah.
Like there was I think some other comic had also spoken about this, and I think that it just like bears repeating. This is the funniest story I've heard about Trump. Like Trump would wake up in the morning, look at the news, Like he had like you have the TV here. He had like 3 or 4 TVs like this in the bedroom, and he would wake up and switch on like TV, and he would be on like these different news channels, and he would see which news channel is mentioning his name, and if none of these mentioned his name, then he would just go and tweet something.
Yeah.
And like he would see this in real time, like all these news channels change to Trump, breaking news.
Yeah.
And he would feel happy about it, and then he would like go about his business.
Yeah. There's whether you like him as a politician or not, whether you agree with his shit, there's something to be admired by the level of not give a fuck that he has.
He
doesn't. I mean, I think it was Chris Rock that had the bit about George Bush not giving a fuck. Like, if you were hanging from a cliff and all you needed was a single fuck, and George Bush was looking at you with a pocket full of fucks, he wouldn't give it to you. If he were to say that now, it would be about Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And it would be a truckload of fucks.
Oh yeah. He just has. Yeah, he wouldn't give you anything.
Yeah.
Like that is commitment, man. Like I do not that man's commitment. Like everything. Like they say it in the news. Like they go, oh yeah. He says, I'd like to be a dictator for a day, and I'm like, he is going to be a dictator if he becomes this guy again. So it's just like coming back to the question. Like this is the first time I have seen indifference in the people I've met. Like no one cares about the election anymore.
Right.
Like no one's like, oh, I'm choosing this guy. Or there's no choices. They're not making choices. Democrats are not happy with the choice they made. I don't know what's happening on the Republican side, because that's like a whole fucking other thing altogether. But what do you guys think? What, like, are you excited, nervous, stressed? What the fuck is in your head?
Can't get worse.
Yeah.
How it can. I think it could. I think it could.
Yeah.
I just think I agree in the sense that people are apathetic toward it because we've had 2 choices for fucking 12 years. What the fuck is that?
Yeah.
2 choices for 12 years. Nobody even close.
Yeah.
In contention. Trump is so polarizing that he has devout fucking followers. Like, people are not going to be swayed. Mm-hmm. Biden doesn't have that, but he's already in the position.
Yeah.
They don't have anybody else that they want to put up front. I guess, it is. And I'm young. I'm only 26, so I haven't really, as an adult, seen elections.
Right.
But I agree with you. I do think people are like, we'd like to switch it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like there is no, how do I say, incumbents, maybe you can say an incumbent, because you'll have like someone just waiting in the wings to go ahead. It doesn't seem like, because like the people I don't know who is chosen, like who gets elected and whatnot, because like now it seems when they say democracy is under threat, I really think, looking at it, just comparing it with the last 2 elections, it does seem like it, because it's like, this is like the first time I've seen like young people just go, yeah, man, this system doesn't work.
Yeah.
And I came here in 2016 because I was like, yeah, that system does not work. So let me go to a place where it does work and see what happens. And then like 6 months into me being here, 86 days into me being here, Trump became president.
Sure.
Yeah, and like the next day, my professor
kept count.
Yeah, I did keep count. I was
straight from India here.
I was
Oh.
So wow. August 18th, I came here.
Okay.
And he became September, October, November.
Wow.
Yeah, like that's
what a welcome fucking wagon.
That was because like next day when I went to I was doing an MFA in writing, and like the professor was like, things are tough. So what I would suggest to you is just like, don't like speak to anyone on the subway or anything. Don't go political. Don't say anything.
Yeah.
And my roommate who was Pakistani, he was Pakistani American, and he came, like I met him the next day. Like he went to work in the morning, and he came back, and I saw that he was like clean shaven. I was like, he's like, haven't you looked at the news, dude? You gotta make sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
He took it that serious.
Oh yeah.
Holy fuck.
And I was also like, all right, if that's what it is, then I'm gonna do it. I'm just like, went in, like shaved my beard, and I was like, yeah, I want to stay clean shaven for a little bit.
Well, I think people are. I think now we have, as individuals, we have more information
Yeah.
than we ever have.
But that's my question. Like, you've had that information in 2016 as well. You've had that information 2020 as well.
Yeah.
Even before that, like, social media is not new. It's been there for a while. Like, you had
Sure.
access to everything. YouTube has everything. It's like, no matter how much they want to hide, if you go try to seek information, you will find it. Like, there was this 4-hour lecture by Noam Chomsky in like 88, speaking about how American democracy is just one party with two wings.
Yeah.
So they've always like, yeah, that's
It's the
thing.
corporation party.
It
Whatever
is.
they want.
It is exactly what it is.
And now, and like, it's so blatant now.
Yeah.
I think that's the other thing, is it's so blatant and in our face, like, to say, you guys aren't going to do shit. You guys are going to keep buying our shit.
Yeah.
We're going to keep attaching activist. We're going to keep attaching movements to our products. We're going to BLM you to death with Nike, and we're going to gay rights you to death with Ben and Jerry's. And
Yeah.
we're going to keep doing that. And the money you give us, we're going to go bomb brown kids.
Yeah.
And we're going to keep this show rolling, and you guys are going to you're going to watch football, and you're going to...
Watch baseball.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Everyone's going to aspire to it. Like, this is what I feel like is emblematic of the whole situation. Okay, I'm trying to bring it back to like brown guys, because that's important. But I'm just kidding. Well, it's just like
We need brown guys.
we need brown guys, and like
We need them to grow up and become guys.
That is
Not
like a
children.
totally different conversation. But like, look at what they did to Hassan Minhaj, right? Hassan Minhaj is like the golden boy poster child for the Democrats. He's this he's also like, that's what was brilliant about Hassan also, that he wasn't afraid about going after like the people that you would say are the status quo. Like, he went on CNBC and he went after the journalists, and he was like, you guys cover business, but you guys don't ask the hard-hitting questions. You guys don't
Sure.
go and be like, oh, how much are you paying your workers? And you're not doing journalism. Like, you're just complicit. And he went after governments. He went after the Saudi Arabian government, and then he was about to get the Daily Show job, and then the New Yorker goes and is like, we're gonna do this profile on Hassan Minhaj, who's supposed to be the next guy for the Daily Show. And I don't want to get conspiracy theorist on this again, but it just seemed like there were a few people behind the scenes who must have been like, we can't have Hassan, let's do a hit piece. If you look at that whole article, because
Are you talking about the anthrax joke? Or the anthrax thing?
Oh no, I'm talking about the article that the New York Times and the New Yorker published on Hassan. They
it was a hit piece?
Oh, that was a fucking hit piece, man.
Yeah.
Like, the way it's written, the way they ask him questions about, so what's the truth in your... When did stand-up become about, like, it's not journalism. He's speaking the truth.
Sure.
His truth. Whatever the fuck that is, right?
Right.
And that could be anything. You're supposed to elicit a joke. Then for you to go and say that, hey, Hassan does political comedy and he speaks about the news. He can't be irresponsible and do this on his one-man shows. He has to like provide us proof. Proof of what? Proof of what? Like these were real stories and whatnot. He's not producing documentaries.
Look it up yourself.
Yeah. It's like there are different genres of comedy or different genres of work in the artistic space. Are you telling me the Daily Show is Daily Show says that it's a satire news show? Okay. Are you telling me that the Daily Show does better work or is going to be held to a higher standard than CNN?
Shouldn't.
Exactly.
It
right?
fucking shouldn't.
Right. So what do you want Hassan to do? You want Hassan Minhaj to be a documentarian? He's not.
Yeah, he's not a serious journalist. He's a
exactly.
comic. Yeah.
He's a comic.
Yeah.
And then to go and like be like, hey, he has to be more responsible about what? There is no such thing where we go and like. So are you telling us that like the public is stupid? That the public doesn't know how to decipher between different genres of comedy? Like,
right.
We don't know what it is. And like the way they just went, like as soon as that's the one article that dropped on him. No other publication covered it. No other publication went after him. It was just that one New Yorker article and the commentary that happened around it that just, they were just like, yeah, we got to look in a different direction. We can't give Hassan the host's job.
Right. Yeah, well, I mean, there's two things. There's every news media outlet has sponsors.
Yeah.
So, you know, the old joke, brought to you by Pfizer. Every single one brought to you by Pfizer. But nobody's going to talk about the V word in a negative light in those times.
Yeah. I know.
And the other thing is people misconstrued comedians for something else.
Yeah.
Like, it makes me laugh when people say, you're the last line of defense for...
We're the court jester.
We're telling dick jokes.
Exactly, man.
But it is, in the same token, though, there is the old quote of, like, tell people the truth, they'll kill you, make them laugh, and they'll listen.
Yeah.
Right? So comics have that kind of gray area where it's like their job is to make people laugh.
Yeah.
And people are expecting that from them.
Right.
But they also are at liberty to talk about things that people aren't going to talk about
Right.
in a very satirical manner.
Correct.
And that should be separated.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. Like, you can't tell me that one person is going to be held to that standard, especially when he's literally auditioning to be the next big face of the Daily Show, no matter what you want to, no matter what direction network TV is going in right now, at the moment, for the next 2, 3, 5 years, maybe, that's still important.
Sure.
It's going to be relevant for the next 2 election cycles, at least. No matter how, at least till the midterm elections. So he could have a 3-year stint.
Yeah.
Like, what is it about? Like, he hasn't even been called as a guest or whatever, guest host and whatnot. He hasn't done that as well. They just looked in another direction altogether. They cancelled his Netflix show and they got him out of the Daily Show as well. That was a hit piece. That's what it was. And when he came with receipts, he came out with receipts. He did a 15-minute, 20-minute thing on YouTube. He put it out. He refuted every claim. He conceded where he could have conceded. It was like, when the article dropped, I was like, it was just like the tone and voice in which the whole thing was written. It was just like, hey, we gave you prominence and we can take it away when we want to.
Yeah.
Like, you can see that in many people's cases. Like, you can look at Mehdi Hassan. He doesn't have a program on MSNBC anymore. You can look at Mark Lamont Hill, who's an activist as well. He's spoken about the Middle East and everything, and he doesn't have a job with CNN or these places because they're speaking truth to power. And you just take them off the public consciousness, because now you have complete control over what the message is.
Well, the news has changed from being the news to being entertainment.
It is.
People keeping people scared keeps them tuned in.
Right.
If you know.
But how do you get your news through traditional sources still?
I don't really watch in terms of, I won't turn on CNN or Fox or anything like that. But I usually go through, I don't know if you've heard of Roca News. I've been talking about Roca News for years.
No, what is it?
It's like a independent, completely non-biased news source. And it's very palatable. They do, they have a newsletter as well, but they also do a lot on Instagram where they'll put a 4-post type thing. And they break it down in bullet points, if that makes sense. So it's easy to take in, and there's no one side or the other. It's just, this is what's happening.
Factual information.
It's
not editorialized.
But before that, I would do Wall Street Journal, because when you look at finance news, they don't beat around the bush. They're saying, all right, we're going to have to drop some bombs. We're going to, money's kind of low here, and they don't fuck around when you read financial news.
Yeah, and it's there's another thing that's related to finances. If you think of how society is doing well is you check on the finance bros, so to speak.
Yeah.
and see where their money is going, because their money usually goes to a lot of strippers. And,
Yeah.
and if the strippers are doing well, that's how you know the society is doing well.
Yeah.
Because stripping basically is a disposable income.
Yes.
That is disposable income. And
Yeah.
if they're not disposing their income,
Right.
then that means that
They-
society is fucked.
They did a thing. It was like a heat map during like All-Star Weekend
Right.
for basketball, and it was
Yeah.
like all the strip clubs in the area,
Oh, really?
and they're all just like
Lighting up.
popping.
Yeah.
yeah. Or it was like there was a player who's famous for going to strip clubs. I forget who it
James
was.
Harden, is it?
I think it was James Harden.
James Harden did
Yeah.
like I think they also did like I don't know what it was, but they said James Harden does well in cities where there are no like good strip clubs.
Yes.
Strip
It's
clubs.
like every NBA city.
yeah.
Yeah, so he's just like he just didn't like he wouldn't do well in places where there were good strip clubs. So
Yeah. Well, I bet that's like the old boxing.
what's with the boxing?
Well, they say not to have sex before a fight,
Oh yeah.
like so long before a fight,
All right.
because I guess you're depleting yourself. Some guys don't pay it. A lot of people don't pay attention to that. But
Yeah.
like Deontay Wilder, I don't know if you follow boxing at all.
I
but
do follow it a little bit, yeah.
Deontay, who was known for knocking people into the next dimension,
Right.
that guy would fuck. He said it. He's like, I don't pay attention to that rule. He's like, I fuck before I go in the day of. Like,
Yeah, I mean, like, think about it. I don't. Was it Mike Tyson who used to do that too?
oh yeah,
That
you're
is
not gonna
prime.
stop that guy from
Yeah.
Adesanya said it too.
Adesanya, right?
Easy.
Yeah, he does it too. He doesn't
yeah.
give a fuck.
He doesn't give a fuck. Like Tyson used to not have sex with people. He'd
Oh,
go
he
crazy.
wouldn't.
No, he wouldn't. Like he would just like, and then he would be like. That's the thing. It's like,
Riled up.
yeah, he would be riled up.
Yeah.
Mike
Daniel
Tyson.
Cormier does the same, or used to do the same thing. He used
really?
to not like he would grow his beard out. He wouldn't cut his hair. He
Oh, yeah?
wouldn't. He wouldn't lay with his wife. He wouldn't do anything. He's like,
yeah.
so I'm angry fight night.
Oh yeah.
I fucking want to beat this guy's ass and go fuck my wife.
Would he carry cigarettes with him to the other guy's eye as well?
yeah, right. Well, there was that dude Ray. What was his name? Ray Mayorga. You remember him? He used to go to weigh-ins smoking cigarettes.
Oh really?
He was a boxer. He was a Mexican.
Ryan Garcia was speaking about how he was high, like,
Yeah.
all the way leading up to his last fight.
So supposedly he did that all on purpose. That was to get us all. That was to get his betting line. Like
Yeah, it wasn't even actually drinking. It was like apple juice.
apple juice. Like
Oh,
he went
really?
to weigh-ins drinking out of a beer bottle, but he's like, it was apple juice
Oh yeah. Nice.
to get his because he bet on himself. He put like $2 million on himself.
Yeah, and he won 12 million or something, right?
Yeah.
But he also didn't pass like a drug test or something. Before.
Something like that.
He didn't pass a drug test. So shouldn't that be invalid then,
PBs.
like the fight results and
They're
whatnot?
trying to make it a no contest.
Oh really?
It's a whole commission. Like they gotta appeal it,
Yeah.
and
But then the commission will do what is best for the game instead of doing what's best for like fairness. Come on.
yeah.
There's no fairness in sport. There's
Well, especially
money.
not boxing. Boxing's fucking ugly.
There's money in sport.
Yeah, and thank God for it. Right?
Like, but it's more fair than comedy though. But like it's just
You think so?
yeah. I mean,
Really?
like, come on, man. You've seen some of the people who get like who
Yeah, but they
are-
don't last.
What?
You're
That's
talking
not
about people whose material is but they get
Yeah.
bumped.
Yeah, there's so many people who do that. I mean,
Yeah.
like, but you get to a certain point and then you have writers.
Well, now it's
Yeah.
like if you're viral on TikTok, you can sell out a comedy club.
Yeah,
You know?
yes and no though. Like there are some like that's one of the things that I would give credit to influencers, like because a lot of the like we keep saying that a lot of the influencers get like these spots and like book these shows and everything, but I've seen like a lot of influencers go at least I've seen them in New York, like a lot of influencers go and like practice the craft and like do it. Like
Yeah,
it's like
totally.
this idea that influencers are like all of them are all bad is I don't think that's true at all.
Right. No, I
Because-
agree.
Because I've seen like a lot of people who have like a lot of following, but they will be like, no, I'm gonna go to like a club and like build an act and like do everything all that it takes. Like Demetrius Fields, I don't know where he's from, but he's got like a sizable following on TikTok, and he does shows at like he'll do mics, and he's done shows at like he's doing some stuff at Flophouse, comedy club. He does the comedy lottery, but he's also that's like a mic for other comics. So I've seen a lot of comics do that as well, like a lot of like a lot of influencers, so to speak. But I mean, I feel like a lot of the people who do stand up and have like a sizable following online, they started doing stand up and then they gained a following online,
Yes.
and then they continue to do stand up. So I mean, like, I wouldn't say that, but I've seen like a lot of people, like especially in comedy right now, like some of the people who are at the top are like really really bad.
Yeah.
You know that.
Sure.
I don't want to drop names because that's the thing. Is like you can do diss tracks and rap, but you can't like diss comics for being shitty at comedy.
Right. Right.
'Cause-
Unless you're all together
Yeah.
in a after a show and you're like, that fucking guy sucked, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like not when that guy is around you.
yeah. Yeah.
You don't say anything.
I remember one time, I think it was you that went up
Yeah.
at an open mic and you were like, there's nothing else where everybody that's waiting to go up
Yeah.
is thinking, I'm going to show these fuckers.
Yeah. I said that. Yeah.
You said something like that.
Like-
I'm going to show these guys don't know what the fuck they're doing. I'm going to show them.
Every comic who's waiting to go up. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's like, you're doing that's not comedy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show you what comedy is. Like there are different. That's the thing. It's like I see like when there's a lot of comics who I think are great, but a lot of those comics, like myself included, like suck at the hang and suck at
Yes.
like being like friends with a lot of people.
Which shouldn't, I mean, when you think of hard things,
Yeah.
that shouldn't be a problem. Like hanging out with people. Like,
It's just I don't know why I can't do it. I just can't. But like again, the
but
fault.
I feel you. I'm the same way.
Yeah, because the fault is also mine. I can't just like really illustrate. Yeah. They need to recognize my great. No, I'm developing this.
Yes.
I'm not like developed completely.
Yeah.
But
We're all
like
contemporaries.
yeah, but it's just like that's the thing. It's like, but like there are certain things because I think comedy is also such a subjective art form.
So many ways to do it.
So many ways to do it. So
Yeah.
many ways to be funny. So many genres of comedy.
Right.
But like the popular ones are just a few, obviously. But it's just I feel like other art forms, no, not art forms, but other things have more of talent beats. Talent and hard work beats, influence. Like you can't be like a mediocre basketball player and play in the league. Like you can't just throw underarm and be like, I'm gonna take Kyrie Irving's place.
Right.
Because-
Well, the league's the highest level. So if you think
Right.
like you can't just be, you think you can not be funny and be on Netflix? Somebody's got to find you funny.
I mean, you got. That's what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying, though. I'm not saying that they're not completely not funny. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that it's a version of things that we have seen before.
Right.
Like quite. I mean, it's almost seems like you see specials from 10 years ago, and they're better than the ones we see now. Because I mean, just because if you can doesn't mean you will. Like, not every comic needs to produce like a special every 2 years.
Right.
It's-
David Tell. You
Yeah.
get a special from him every 10 years if you're lucky.
Exactly, and he's
Yeah.
great. He's fucking amazing.
Might be one of the best ever.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like he comes around and does a special when he wants, but he'll never do a premature special. He will never be like he will
Right.
never go up with half baked material.
Right. Chris Rock does the same thing. He believes that a special should be special.
Exactly.
It shouldn't be like a clock,
Yeah.
like a Kevin Hart every 2.5 years.
Yeah.
And I'm no shame on Kevin Hart. He's great, but
Yeah.
it's just a different way of thinking. And then you think of someone like Carlin who did a special every year, which is like,
Yeah. That's
some of those are going to be bad,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying though. We shouldn't be. How it's not like it's the only thing where any criticism means you hate.
Right.
And it's like some things like you can make art and those things like a movie, right? If a movie flops, they're okay with that,
Yeah.
right? But why is it like when it comes to stand-up specials, you have to be like all for it or you're against it? Like that's what I don't get. Like I don't
All or
feel like
nothing.
yeah, it's all or nothing. It's just you either completely love this or you're a hater. It's just
Yeah. No, I mean, I that reminds me when I was in high school.
Yeah.
And like, there's some artist that you like, you and your buddies like,
Right.
and you know everything about him. For us, it was Kevin Gates for whatever reason.
Gotcha.
And one of your friends will be like, "Oh yeah, I love Kevin Gates." They'll name his biggest song, "I Don't Get
Yeah.
Tired" or whatever the fuck it is. And you're like, get the fuck out of here. You don't even know that he's from Louisiana. You don't even know that he's this and that. And, and
Yeah.
it's kind of what you're saying. If you're not all in,
Yeah, exactly.
then, but, I mean, you got to,
It's like a Led Zeppelin, wearing a Led Zeppelin shirt.
yeah.
And people go, "Oh, you're a fan of Led Zeppelin?
Yeah.
Name 4 songs."
Yeah. What the fuck does that matter?
Yeah. What if I like just one song?
That I really, really like.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why I got that. I love that song so much that I bought a shirt.
I bought a shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if I like. There was a time when like everyone was hating on Justin Bieber,
Yeah.
and obviously I'll join in the hate because I'm a hater.
Of course.
in,
Oh,
like,
it's so fun.
it's so fun, man.
When it's funny, it's fun.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I would hate on Bieber, but I mean like
Yeah.
and Despacito was annoying. But when I listened to it initially, I was for it.
Yeah.
I would have bought if like in the first 5 days you'd have been like, "Hey, do you want to buy a Despacito shirt?"
Yeah.
I'd be like, yeah, I might.
I think I do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I would proudly wear Bieber on my sleeve.
Well, you also got to give any artist a chance to do bad shit.
Exactly.
There's none that across the board everything's good. It's very
Yeah.
rare.
Exactly. But
Yeah.
like that's the thing. What if I said, "Oh, that special was not great." Why am I a hater then? Why can I not just be like, "Oh, I've loved other specials from him."
Yeah.
Like Dave Chappelle, I've loved the earlier specials he did. Like even the one where he did the special in the belly room, the small one like at the comedy store. I think in the recent years, the ones that he's put out, that was the best for me.
Sure.
But then the other stuff, I'm not like even the 20-minute special that he did on like during the George Floyd protests. It wasn't funny as much as it was poignant.
Sure.
But I appreciate that. But like just because I like those things and I dislike other things doesn't make me like a hater.
Now, as far as stand-ups that you do like,
Yeah.
do you like comics that make points? Or
Yeah.
do you like comics that are just straight jokes?
I
Or do you like
think-
a little of both?
I think points like comedy should be funny and points should be accidental.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Like the points you like Shane Gillis in his last special, he was speaking about, real people and everything. Like that joke about how I fucking hate my girlfriend's ex-boyfriend.
Because he was
He's
a
a fucking
Navy
Marine.
SEAL. Yeah.
And he's a Navy SEAL, and
Yeah.
then he goes on and he shows like those guys, like the guys in Al Qaeda, they're like the real people. That joke, like,
Yeah.
it's like those are real people. Like what happened
Right.
in Iraq was fucked up because
Right.
there were a bunch of real people who died, 400,000 civilians and
Against
whatnot.
trained fucking commando
Yeah, exactly.
murderers, yeah.
Exactly, and it's like that's a human risk. Like he's like, oh, every 4 months they would like fire a missile at a truck and it will explode, and they'd be like, oh.
Yeah. He does the voice so good.
He's like, that's a human response.
Yeah, for
Like,
sure.
They were going up against like some of these civilians there in Iraq were going up against the biggest army in the world. And
Totally.
And then they put like videos of them training on monkey bars, and they're like, yeah, let's fucking go.
Yeah.
That's a funny joke because I feel like the points he's making there are accidental because
Right.
it's based in his hate for his ex,
Right.
and he's making a larger point about the war, which I think Shane Gillis is like smart enough to know exactly that that's the point he's trying to make
Right.
with it. But the craft goes in making it seem like it's accidental, right?
Yeah. Well, there's also the inverse of that is like someone making a point and it's funny.
Yeah.
Like you got like, I mean, my favorite, it kind of goes back and forth. My favorite comic ever is probably Bill Hicks.
Uh-huh.
And that guy was known for almost anti-comedy.
Right.
Where he's fucking screaming at people
Yeah.
about, whatever.
Right.
And it's funny.
Yeah.
But he's just being angry and honest. And they're
Right.
like, oh, my God, this is great.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
think Bill Hicks, I mean, at the time that he's doing it, he knew that that's what he's doing.
Right.
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 When you say anti-comedy, he knows that that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But like then you see like a bunch of people who just think that's what comedy is. Like they're not getting. Like there's a persona behind it. To be able to pull it off takes like immense skill. To be like, hey, let me get you in on this persona first, and then I'll say these things. That's why you find it funny. Because if you just knew, if it was a random guy just yelling at you on stage, you'd be like, this guy's fucked, like he's a maniac.
Right.
Then it wouldn't be funny. You wouldn't be called a comedian then.
Right.
Right. So I mean, like a lot of comics I like are, they're either just funny or like if they make a point, they make a point once.
Right. It's not the point. It's not their act.
That's not their act. Yeah.
Right.
Because it's just like point-based things have their space, but that's a different space. That goes more into like something entirely different. I don't think that's like as vast as stand-up can be. I don't think that's. I don't enjoy it because it just feels like I used to enjoy it.
Yeah.
When I didn't have an idea about what kind of comedy I wanted to do, but now that I am doing it in a way, in a space that I think, this is where I want to go with it. I feel like accidental points, like comedy is funny first, point later, always, like every time. The good stand-ups are.
Yeah.
Like if you've seen Fahim Anwar, Fahim Anwar was fucking great. Fahim Anwar.
I don't think I know.
Oh, you know, Fahim Anwar is an LA-based comic.
Okay.
And he's had a couple specials. He put a couple specials on YouTube. He's from Afghanistan and he's Afghan American actually. He grew up here.
Yeah.
But like he makes a lot of points. He's like, he made this joke about masks, and he was like, some people are like, oh, I'm just against masks and I'll never wear a mask during the virus. And he's like, why don't you go like take the point of least resistance in certain cases? Like he's like, I'm a Muslim, but like my Christian friends used to invite me to their homes for dinner.
Sure.
And then they would be like, all right, we're gonna join our hands for Jesus. And then what do you think I did? Yeah, it's like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna say? No, I'm Muslim. Fuck that.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
I didn't do that.
Right.
He's like, I joined my hands.
Totally.
I joined my hands, said a prayer. I even did extra shit. Like I just go, oh, heal me,
Lord
from
Jesus.
Lord
Turn to a Baptist, like a Black Baptist church.
It's hilarious. But
Yeah.
like, that's the thing. It's like the point is there.
Right.
Like, but it has to be like, again, that's what I like. The point can be there, but like it has to be like covered under layers of funny.
Yeah, we want to laugh.
Yeah.
We want to laugh. That's the most important
Yeah,
part.
because otherwise I'd watch a speech.
Yeah. You're going to get more points.
Yeah,
More
exactly.
Poignant points as well.
Poignant points,
See that?
Yeah, it's just like, even like applause should be like a lot of comedy in like, you just go, some people go, oh, you got applause breaks.
Yeah.
And that should be like, oh, that was so hilarious. I can't help myself but like clap my hands for this.
Right. It shouldn't be like, oh, yeah, we should vote.
Yeah.
And everybody claps.
Exactly.
Like,
Do we all agree? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but like, I also feel like a lot of audiences have also like changed. Like earlier, people wanted to like be challenged.
Yeah.
But now they want you to make the points that they're already thinking.
Well, you know, I think that we're in a period of... I think every generation has like a pendulum swing in terms of how much people are willing to take socially.
Right.
Like if you think back to the 50s, everything was, puritanical, dress and tie, and ba-ba-ba. That's how everybody was. And then the 60s come and everyone's like, fuck that.
Yeah.
Buck wild. How good was the art in the 60s compared to the art in the 50s? You go to music, you go to fucking... I mean, it's obviously objective, or subjective, but...
But I also feel like that's the thing to piggyback on that point. I feel like when society is kind of fucked up, the art is better.
Exactly.
But like that's the thing. It's like, do you want to like? That's the thing as an artist.
I'm not saying it's good.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's good too. But I'm also like thinking, it's like, do I want good art or do I want a good world?
I don't know if the 50s version is a good world though. It looks nicer.
That's what I'm saying. But it
looks nicer.
The art was better
in the 60s.
In the 60s, you think, or in the 50s?
I think I think the art is better when people are a little more depraved. And I don't know that the world is better when people are less depraved.
Okay.
I don't know that that's true.
I don't think the world is better when people are less depraved.
Yeah.
And again, like just using the word depraved itself.
It might not be the right word.
Yeah,
but
it's not
when
the right
people
word.
are socially freer,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. When there's more, when people aren't as offended. Like if you think back just a few years ago, you
Yeah.
couldn't say a fucking thing,
Yeah.
and now it's almost like Shane Gillis is saying retard on
Yeah.
Saturday Night Live.
But again,
and-
here's the thing. Like that's what I believe. Like there was always a way to say it. There's all like it was lazy people doing art. It was laziness. Like you can say the things that you want. Like that's the thing. As an artist, you need to know the pulse of whatever society, if you want
Yeah.
to say that, right? The audience. That's what the audience responds to. The
Right.
audience responds to you going, "Oh wait, you know us. Like you're speaking about topics that will not make us shift in our seat."
right.
Right. So if there was a time when like they said, "Oh, we can't say these words because of these implications about it," right? Because think about the N word itself, right? No one says the N word. I mean, that's a stretch, but like the good artists don't need to use the N word to
Right.
get their point across. Like none of the good comics in the last few years have needed the N word to use. Like they don't need to use it, right?
So much cooler if they did.
Only
I
if
would-
they're white. No.
Yeah, exactly. See, that
Yeah.
it's funny because you don't believe in it.
Yeah.
If you did believe in it,
Right,
you'd be like,
right.
"What the fuck is wrong?"
But the fact that I can even make a joke like
Yeah.
that is more open
Right.
than
No, but don't
the
you
alternative.
don't you think it's because you're in that space where you know what the tension is in that part, so
Yes.
you're not crossing that,
Yes.
right? If you know the tension is, oh, if I said the N word, that would be the tension.
Right.
Correct. That would just like elevate the tension. But you're keeping it within bounds, so you know what the line is there, right?
Yeah.
So I understand crossing the line is what helps us know where the line is. But like Cat Williams was also saying this is like he's never felt the need to say a bunch of these things to be good at stand up. I think he's one of the greatest to ever do it.
Oh, definitely.
Exactly, and he's
Yeah,
been
Pimp
consistently.
Chronicles.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He's been extremely funny all these years.
Yeah.
So how is he able to like do these things? And like people who say, "Oh, you can't say anything." How are like the people who say that you can't say anything? Many of these people are usually on the right, and it's like
Right.
it's like if you look at a lot of the art, it's also right wing. Like the right wing wins more often than not. So for people to go, "Oh, I can't say anything," like you can say things, but like there are places to say it. Like if I want to be there and I want to laugh, I don't want you to like. It's like if I don't like toilet humor and then you speak about diarrhea for 5 minutes,
Yeah.
I'm not going to laugh.
Right.
Right? I said, I go, this is one thing that I don't like. I dislike it. So I'm not going to laugh at it. Right? And that is feedback. And if you don't take the feedback and like recalibrate, then you're a bad artist. And
To your point about
Yeah.
the right
yeah.
being the socially less conservative is new, I would
Yeah.
think.
You think so?
I mean, historically, it was supposed to be the liberals who were the ones who were supposed to be free everything, free speech, free
Yes.
love, free everything, free.
Correct.
And now, well, not now. Again, I think the tide's shifting a little bit. But previously,
Yeah.
it was the left that was saying we can't say certain things, we can't joke about certain things,
Yeah.
we can't talk about certain things.
Right. So to add to the thing that you like, let me bring it back to the pendulum swing that you were talking about.
Yeah.
You need to swing the pendulum in a certain direction. You need to go, okay, we don't need to say this anymore. Don't say it. We don't need to do it. Like, don't do it. Like, that's the thing. It's like you get to that pendulum swing where you go to an extreme, where
Yes.
you go, oh, we don't need to say it.
And it goes
But
back.
like, that's the thing. The center, haven't reached the center
The center is where would be nice.
where we would
That
want
would
to
be good.
Exactly. right?
Like
Yeah.
either way is
Yeah.
what's it's just an overcorrection.
Exactly.
It's an overcorrection. Now anybody can say the N word.
But
you
you
go on
need the-
Twitter, it's fucking
Twitter. I
You
mean,
know,
like
that's a different conversation.
that's
but
a totally different. Like it's just,
nonetheless,
like Musk and his Muskies are
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
they're
running amok.
yeah. It's just
Which I
like,
do. Again, I feel like you should be able to.
you should be able to, or you should.
I feel like you should be able to say anything.
Uh-huh.
It's up to you if you want to.
Right.
Right? I feel.
All right.
Okay, let's just clarify this.
Uh-huh.
I feel that anybody should be able to say any word.
Correct.
It's up to their discretion.
Yeah.
And whether or not they want to use the word at all.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
you can say anything you want to say. Say whatever it is you want to say.
Yeah.
Okay, but there will be consequences. Like
Totally.
that's
Totally.
the thing. If you are not afraid of the consequences,
Yeah.
then you shouldn't be afraid of saying anything. Like, that's the thing. It's like there are certain like you like it's literally like saying, say for example, it's a really bad example, but like you go to a funeral and like there is like a lady in the coffin and you go, oh God, she died. Her tits were great. You can't say
Right,
it.
right,
Like, that's the
right,
thing.
right.
You can't go
Context. Situation.
context, situation. Like, there's so many
Yeah.
of those things. Like, you can't just like if you just shout random things, it's called Tourette's. Like,
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Of course.
Like, there is, if you are an artist, any kind of artist, and you want to be provocative, you can be provocative also. But I think there was a reaction to the lack of thought that went behind a lot of these things.
Yes.
Like, just you don't test the boundaries without doing your homework first. They would just test the boundaries by just yelling a word out
Right.
in a place and saying, "Oh, let me see how people." That's not stand up. That's not art. Like, that's the thing. It's like I would watch someone doing a bunch of things. You can do things that are offensive, so-called offensive. Like, I've had comics do the Indian accent to me.
Yeah.
But like, if it's a bad accent, I'm not going to laugh at it. I'm not going to validate you by saying, "Oh, you're so brave
Yeah.
to do a bad Indian accent in front of an Indian person." Like, you can do it, but don't expect me to laugh.
Right.
Like, that's your feedback. I mean, like, I've never, again, like we'd spoken about this earlier, the center of both extremes is always rational.
Sure.
So a lot of people,
It's just not fun. Nobody wants to read anything about it.
exactly,
You know?
But like, that's the thing. It's like, you can't, like, if you describe like normal things that normal people do.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. It's like I'm an educator. I teach ESL, so like a lot of immigrant students would be here, and many of them have racist tendencies. So they would just be like, "Oh, why are those people like this?" and all of that. And I'm like, "Have you met all of them?" And they go, "No." And it's like, most people work regular jobs. So how are you telling me that all of them, like, you're speaking in collectives?
Sure.
So it's like you have to understand nuance, and most people who complain about these things, like, they go, "Oh, I can't say anything," they don't understand the nuance, or they don't want any consequences for their actions.
Right. Yeah. There was another quote that I heard somewhere. Art is getting away with it.
Yeah,
If you want to say something, say it.
yeah,
But it shouldn't just be to say it.
yeah. Anthony Jeselnik said that.
Yes.
It was like, art is getting away with it.
Getting away with it.
So if you get consequences, if you have consequences of what you said, you didn't get away with it.
You didn't get away with it.
So now you recalibrate and go. Like, that's what I don't like. Like, that's the thing about like stand up. Like, a lot of specials have this. I was doing this show here. I was doing this there. A person came back to me.
Yeah.
And it's always like, "Oh, I did this joke here, and then this was what happened." And it's like, I'm looking at that and going, "Wait, you didn't live a life. You're basically just going from show to show,
Right.
speaking about joke and its reaction, and then making a joke about the reaction, and then
Right.
it's just, we're producing things for producing things. It's just you have a 3 special contract with Netflix, and you want to be done with it in 3 years, and then you're like, I want to. So it's like, that's the thing. It's like, you're not getting away with bad stuff anymore.
Yeah. That's the thing about when you want to be somebody that makes things for a living. You can't just do the thing.
Exactly.
As much as they tell us we're supposed to.
Yeah. No,
you know,
you're not.
you
No.
got to do other things. You got to watch other people doing the thing.
Yeah.
You go watch. I love going to live music.
Right.
Regardless, I love jazz music, but
Right.
regardless of what it is, because it inspires me. I remember going to see Tim Dillon live
Right.
before I even started doing stand up.
Uh-huh.
Just thinking about it,
Right.
and I was like, watching him the next day, I was writing. I'm like, it
Right.
was so. Why not do it?
Exactly.
If I can get anywhere as funny as that fucker, this is
Have you been to a drag show?
a drag show.
You should go to a drag show, man.
Really?
Oh, they're fucking
Who
killing.
would me and you?
Yeah.
Who do I bring?
Honestly, to be like really serious,
Yeah.
like if you want to get good at stand up, you
Drag show.
Like if you want to become a better performer, you have to be at a drag show, man.
Yeah.
I went to a drag show, and that person on stage, I don't know what pronouns they went by, but like I'll just call them a she, but like
Yeah.
she fucking killed for like 40 minutes on stage.
Yeah.
Like breaking into song, like getting volunteers from the audience to come on stage.
Yes.
And then like passing jokes, like making jokes at their expense, and they're also laughing. None of it is just like look at this guy and how weird he looks. None of that. They're just doing joke after joke, and they're singing and they're like moving into the crowd and
It's
everything.
full performance.
It was a full performance.
Yeah.
Like some of them, like I think a couple of the performers they could have been legit Broadway stars.
Yeah.
Because of their range and tone of their voice and everything. That was a performance and a half, man. And I was like,
Interesting.
and then and it wasn't like a ticket based show. It's just like you could go and watch the show, and then they passed the bucket around, and people were putting in $10 and $20 notes, man.
Yeah.
That bucket was full by the end of like 5 minutes of them going around with the
Yeah.
bucket. It was I think they must have easily cleared like $500-$600.
Nice.
It was great. It was.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to.
Did they read to you after?
Huh?
They read to you afterwards?
Oh no, they didn't. I wish they did. Actually, I would rather hear from a drag queen than someone who just says, "Oh, I'm gonna," like someone who has the right morals or whatever it is, because it just.
I've always liked the fringe of society. Anyway, it's funner.
Yeah.
As far I'm not saying that drag people are.
No.
I guess it's kind of a niche, kind of outside. It's getting more popular now, but it
Right.
started as that.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. It started as that. Like, all the good things start as fringe things.
Yeah.
And then it becomes adapted by like the mainstream, and then it becomes shitty.
Yeah. Think about hip hop or
Yeah.
any music, really.
Yes,
Think of-
like stand up too. Stand up was
Yeah.
like you've done shows where it's in like a really small room in the basement of some place, and there are 20 people around.
Yeah.
And there's like smoke in the air, and like you can smell the beer in the air
Yeah.
and whatnot. And those shows are the best
They're the funnest.
because like stand up was like a fringe thing.
Yeah, you feel like you're still doing something like
Exactly.
sneaky.
Yeah,
or
and
you're
that's
not
what-
supposed to be doing.
You're not. That's the thing. It's like whenever I look at stand up and like see how people go, oh, stand up needs to evolve and like get better and like all of that. It's like, no, stand up is its own organism.
Yeah.
And it will evolve. It will grow on the basis. It's like that's the worst. Like private shows where people do stand up for rich people. That's the worst thing to happen
Yeah.
to stand up. Like
Yeah. This is supposed to be punk rock.
yeah, exactly.
You're not supposed to be entertaining these
Exactly.
suits.
Like-
Fuck these guys.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
They're not supposed to be entertained by stand up.
Yeah.
That's not for them.
This is a low class fucking thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like
Strip clubs and
Yeah.
pro wrestling.
That's what it
Yeah.
is. Yeah, you don't do strip club in like flat lighting.
Yeah.
Right? You don't do it in a
Yeah,
in a
yeah.
white room.
With a snack table
Yeah,
behind
exactly,
everybody.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're stripping. That's not.
We brought Chelsea and her friends for a show today.
Yes, Chelsea's going to strip for us.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Chelsea's in a suit, in a three-piece, and then
Yeah.
while she's stripping, she's reading the Financial Times.
Yeah, business casual. She's
Yeah.
doing a balance sheet while she's upside down on a pole.
Exactly, right? That's what it is for. She's gonna do what she's gonna do. It's like
Yeah.
some things don't go together.
Yeah.
It's like stand up is like when you say stand up is about the truth and like speaking truth to power and everything. How are you speaking truth to power when you're with the people in power?
Exactly.
Like, how?
Yeah.
It's
They're going to
just-
be like, he's talking about us.
Yeah.
That motherfucker.
It's just like it's like the art form is like that's the thing. They've taken a lot of the criticism also around stand up is like taken from. I feel like when I've ever read the review of a stand up special, it's always been like someone who's like, oh, I've done literary criticism, and then like literature is like a thousand years old or something.
Yeah.
Right. Books.
Yeah.
but stand up is 50, 60 years old.
Yeah,
Like, it's
whenever
like
Lenny Bruce was around.
Yeah.
That's it.
vaudeville performers, people
Yeah.
who were like people who would go around from place to place. Like, I wouldn't say gypsies. Gypsy is also not something that people prefer.
Right.
Nowadays.
Getting gypped. You can't say that
Yeah,
anymore.
exactly. Yeah. So, and like because it was the Romani people who would be considered like people who would go from one. They were performers.
Yeah.
They would get paid from place to place. Like even a lot of philosophy in the beginning. Like philosophy. That's the thing. It's like a rich philosopher is stupid.
Yeah.
Like a rich philosopher
Doesn't make sense.
Exactly. Man.
Yeah.
Like you're
What do you think of the Osho? That motherfucker was. He loved money
and women.
and women.
Yeah,
And he
exactly.
was pretty wise. I mean.
That was a sex cult. You know that.
Yeah. I did watch it, but he does say some interesting shit. It was his lady that was a fucking sicko, the one that poisoned people and
Yeah.
the whole thing.
And she's living a great life in Germany.
I know
So-
she's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, he's a snake. He was a snake. I mean, like, that's the thing. Is like,
It's hard to differentiate sometimes.
Yeah.
A guru and a fucking snake.
anyone who's 60 has lots of pearls of wisdom.
Sure. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You've lived till 60.
Yeah.
You have to have had some information
Right.
about the world around you.
Evolutionary speaking, like if you could speak to a tortoise, you'd be
Exactly.
like, this guy knows a lot.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
if you're 60 years old and you've lived in 3 places around the world,
Yeah.
and you've met 100 people, you have a lot of.
You've
words
done a
of
lot more
advice.
than a lot of people. Put it that way.
Yeah.
People don't leave their fucking
Exactly.
block.
You've lived a life. You've
Yeah.
had like a well-rounded life where you've met different people.
You can convince some dummies to
Yeah, man.
come live with you.
The-
Fuck all day.
That's what I have. Like, you're not built for it. You're not built. No one is built for fame.
Yeah.
So if
Yeah.
you get famous, you're gonna do fucked up shit. Like
Totally.
everyone is gonna do fucked up shit.
Totally.
Like imagine like everyone's like, oh, when 600,000 people chant your name, this is what your response should be. No.
Yeah. You should, yeah. 600,000 people chant your name. Go back to being normal.
Exactly,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Go to an IHOP.
Yeah. 600,000 people chanting your name and
Yeah,
you just
yeah,
go,
yeah.
no, I'm gonna refuse free things.
Yeah. How fucking. You're right. It is true.
It's just like strange. It's just like a lot of the like that's the with Jay Shetty, that guy also. Everyone was like, oh, he was never a monk. He just speaks wisely and all of that, and that's why Jay.
Is that bad?
That's
I mean, if he's claiming he's a monk, obviously that's not good. But
Yeah.
if he's a wise person, I mean,
exactly. I'm like, he's
You know.
also like he's also accused of like stealing from other Instagram
right,
places,
which isn't
and like
great.
yeah, it's just like that's the thing. It's like the West is desperate to have a brown skinned dude preach to them
Yes.
because it also feels like then they can get away with a lot of the shit that they did in black and brown nations around the world.
Sure.
Like
Yeah.
a lot of them are like, oh, suffering, and like, why is Eastern philosophy so evolved? Because it's suffering, man.
Yeah.
Like in India, there were in a span of 50 years, there were 26 famines, and that was during the British,
Yes.
right? And like from 1880 to 1920, there was like an article in Al Jazeera. There was like a scholar, I don't know who this guy was, but he claimed that there were about like 100 million people who died in 40 years during
Sure.
British rule. And they say, oh, this can be refuted. There's no empirical evidence. There's no statistical information to back that and whatnot. And given, okay, fine, fair. But you can say 2% or 3% or 10% of the people died. 10% of 100 million is still 10 million people.
Yeah.
That's a
It's
lot
not
of
negligible
Exactly.
by any fucking means.
That's a
Yeah.
lot of people. And like if you are a brown person and you've lived in those places
Yeah.
during that time, and you're like an Osho who's fucking 70 when he rose to prominence,
Yeah.
must have, and that was what, the 80s, 70s or something?
I think it was like 80s, 90s.
80s, 90s.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he's lived between 1920 and 1945 in India.
Yeah.
Like a whole generation grows up poor, and you don't think you would learn anything from it? Come on, man. Like that's the thing. It's just
Right.
that's why Iranian cinema is so great. Iran, like that region got fucked up in
Yeah.
in a in the last few decades because of Western interference, because of all of those things. And look at the kind of movies they make. They make
Sure.
brilliant fucking movies.
Or look at music. All the best music is black music. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah.
Across the board. And music that isn't black music came from black music.
Exactly.
Rock and roll came from blues
black-
and
yeah.
R&B and jazz and all that shit.
Hip hop is mainstream.
hip hop, same thing.
Right? Hip hop
Yeah.
is pop culture.
Yeah.
And that's from the Bronx. And then
Yeah.
when did that happen? When the Bronx was fucking burning.
Yes. Yeah, when it was a fucking war zone.
Yeah.
Literally.
I was watching like the series on Netflix on hip hop
Yeah.
evolution, and like in the first few episodes, they say, you know, things were happening in that place, in those places, and there's like this one shop where there were a bunch of musical instruments and everything, and like the DJs who started with hip hop,
Yeah.
they were saying like, you know, the next day you had like a nice turntable and everything. No one asked questions about, hey, where did you get this equipment from? Where are the speakers from?
It
Everything.
was a danger zone, Lenox Ave.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
That's where it came
With
from.
Big L back in the day.
Exactly. That's where
Right.
it came from.
Right.
So,
And now you got Jack Harlow.
oh my God. They're trying to push
Killing it.
They try to push certain people so hard, and I'm like, I will never accept that Jack Harlow.
Yeah.
I have to aspire to be
He's
Jack
at the top.
Harlow.
Yeah.
I've seen him without his beard. He doesn't have a chin.
Right. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just-
yeah. That's
It's just like it won't be desirable to me. Like I used to think, like when I was in India, and I used to be like, oh my, this guy is like really good looking. Like they would throw, like they've thrown white boy after white boy in every single, and like I get here, I'm like, that's my roommate.
yeah.
My roommate is good looking.
Jack Harlow looks like he's from Des Moines and he moved
Yeah.
to Brooklyn.
And my roommate is more evolved, has better opinions, does work on himself.
Yeah.
Then you see these people who come up and like they have like nothing going on between their ears. And I'm like,
Yeah.
why aren't you successful? You should be there, man. Why
Yeah.
are you here? And like then
Too smart.
No, he has ethics.
That too.
He has
That
ethics
too.
and principles.
That's a good
and like
point.
as a good has a like good center of gravity. Like he's a human being.
Yeah.
Then-
People also they don't like to think about this, and this may be an unfavorable opinion, but the road to success is an ugly one that a lot of people would rather
It's paved with a lot of dicks.
go others go elsewhere.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not saying that there's, not levels of success, right?
Yeah.
To the guy that becomes a plumber like his dad and his grandfather did. That
Right.
guy's success. He has a house and a family, whatever. That could be successful.
What is your idea of success? What is your idea of success, Billy?
Doing this podcast. I think I don't know. I think just doing. I don't think being content is the same thing as being successful.
What's the difference?
Because you can be content in a shitty situation. I don't know, it's tough. I guess it's there's a bunch of different levels of being success. I mean,
So what is success to you? I would say both right now. Billy, you tell me too.
You could be successful, like from the outside looking in, like someone like say like Michael Jordan. He's like the most successful basketball player ever, but
Right.
maybe he has a terrible home life. Maybe
Yeah.
he's like a shitty dad, a shitty husband.
But that's evident.
that's a good point. Yeah. Gambling problem.
So
Yeah, it would be crazy, right? If he's watching, I mean,
Michael
if
Jordan,
if he's
yeah,
watching
yeah.
this and it's like, you're a shitty father, and he's like, I took it personally. It's like, yeah, good for you, man. Take it
Yeah,
personally.
yeah,
Be a
you
better
probably
father
should.
to your
starts being the best dad ever.
yeah.
That would be crazy.
We inspired Michael Jordan.
Yeah. We inspired Michael Jordan
Who else can say that?
to have dinner with his son. every night.
He's home by 6 every day.
Yeah. Where's your
He
high
takes-
school basketball coach now, Mike?
He takes his kids to the park.
He listened to these three assholes on a podcast. Felt bad about it.
So, what is your idea of success right now? Like, that's the thing. You're
Keep them low.
Giving
keep your expectations
Expectations low.
low.
Not living paycheck to paycheck.
and that's a good idea. of
That's
success.
concrete. That is concrete.
That's a very
That's
concrete.
a good one.
Are you successful right now?
No.
But like,
He doesn't
let's
get a day
say,
off until the end of this month.
oh really? Oh man, wow. But
Grind
you
don't stop.
are you doing the stuff that you love though?
To an extent.
What is it that you love?
I like creating and being creative. Like right now, I'm producing a boxing series. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So you are doing the stuff that you. So you are.
Yeah,
Successful.
but I gotta slave to the white man in between.
You're a white. You're slaving to
He's
your-
not as white as you think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What is your ethnic background?
I'm half Puerto Rican, half Greek.
Oh, nice. So the best food browns. You're a food brown. Nice.
Food brown. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I'm technically white, but I don't. I'm not
Yeah,
like Irish.
But like you're the original colonizer.
Yeah, Portugal.
Portugal started.
They fucking ran amok in India. They didn't leave till 1960.
But
They're-
they've been like I think Portuguese, like the way the Portuguese ruled parts of they ruled very small patches of India.
Yeah, and Africa. They were
So-
very bad.
In Africa, I don't know. I mean, they must have done bad things.
Oh
everywhere.
God, dude!
In
They
Brazil.
held African colonies till the 1970s.
Oh really?
They held on to Angola until like 1976 or something.
Oh, man.
Yeah, have you met Ano Gomes,
No.
the Australian comic?
Yeah.
He's half Cape Verdean, and me and him were talking one day, and he was
Yeah.
telling me. I told him I was Portuguese,
Right.
and Cape Verde was a colony of Portugal at one point. And he was telling me about how he had uncles, which
Right.
is too close in time
Right.
to have been under colonization.
Yeah.
He's like, I had uncles that fought in those things, and I'm like, I got
That's-
uncles that killed your uncles, motherfucker. This is this is, and it's crazy that we're, I mean, it's great that we're able to talk, and
Yeah.
that's the thing with comedians, though. You can
talk.
you could say pretty much anything.
You can talk
Yeah.
about anything.
Yeah,
Like that's the thing. I can talk about like things. I can be honest,
yeah.
and they can be honest.
And sometimes you forget when you're around normal people.
That's an adjustment that I need to make.
Like sometimes I'll say something like I would say to you,
Yeah.
or to Billy, or to some other fucking comedian,
Yeah.
and they're like, "What?" Like they look at me, and I'm like, "Sorry."
Yeah, that's an adjustment that I need to make.
I don't do stand up, so I have no excuse. But I do the same
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
But
Well, you
like
hang out with
you're
us.
around comics a lot.
Yeah,
So you, it's just that's the thing. It's like I have to like how you go on like on any website. You go on a website and then they go, oh, you need to put these filters if you want this exact thing.
Yes.
That's the filters I have to put to be like, oh, that's how normal people behave.
Right. It's hard to shut off sometimes.
And I think I don't know. It's just, but like the normal people. It's just normal people are also kind of bullshit.
They're boring.
Yeah, normal is boring. Yeah, like I told this to a person once. And they were like, I was like, the reason why normal people are boring is because they have stability, and like, a
Yes.
stable life is not an interesting life.
Yes.
If you do the same thing every day, there's no way you're going to be interesting in
Yeah.
a conversation.
Like if you came on here and you were like, well, gas was cheaper today, and
Exactly.
I bought milk earlier, and
Yeah.
then it's like, why do I want to talk to you even not on a podcast? Like,
Exactly. Right.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like sometimes I feel like I will sometimes I have like a messed up room and I won't pay my bills on time or whatever. I have accumulated debt and all of these things.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, let me just say I took care of all of those things. Would I be happy with myself? Like, would I be like? That's the thing. All problems have somehow vanished tomorrow. Would that be a great like? That's the thing. It's like that's. I also think that's emblematic of America. Also, like a lot of the things that exist in America, it's like too many good things. I feel like there's too many. Like sometimes I'd be having like a box of strawberries on a Tuesday, and I'd be like, I'm not supposed to I don't even know if it's in season. right now.
Right.
Like I have mangoes right now, but like I've also had mangoes in like December.
Yeah.
Like and living in India, mangoes would be only in the summer. So
Yeah.
March to June, and I'd be like,
And you look forward to it.
yeah, you look forward to it. You
Yeah.
look forward to buying.
Changes
those
the meaning of it.
grapes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, I'm having mangoes in this. I shouldn't be having.
Yeah. That's kind of I feel a similar way about like holidays,
Yeah.
where it's like the more of it you do, the less of it means.
Right.
Where
Exactly.
Okay, every year on December 25th, I'm expected to buy you something.
Yeah.
Doesn't that kind of diminish the special aspect of giving a gift and
Yeah.
getting a gift?
I get that.
That's the way. It's kind of like what you're saying. I mean, I'm supposed to wait until July or whatever to eat good mangoes normally.
Right.
But now I can get them all the time.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't really care. You know, a mango's like a fucking novelty. Oh, nice, I got a mango. As opposed to where you got to wait.
Yeah.
You're like, yes, I fucking got a mango now.
You appreciate it more,
Yeah.
but also like there needs to be some difficulty.
Yes.
Like
That's why stand-up works so well in New York, because it's such a fucking
exactly.
mayhem shithole.
Yeah.
Constantly, everyone's like, ugh.
Everyone like I've also like I don't want this to happen, but it's like when my life has been shitty, I've done better sets.
Yeah.
Like my performances have been better because
That's why I don't want to get like a decent job. Because that's why I don't want a decent job.
exactly
I feel like
it has
the
nothing
fact
to do with your resume or the fact that you're
that I smoke weed
or work
constantly.
ethic or anything, but
Yeah. It's because I want to get better at stand-up. No, I mean, it is kind of in the sense, like when I work as a server in a restaurant,
Right.
and I've been doing that for a long time. I don't love it. I do it because it pays the bills, and I don't have to work as often, and I can make just about as much money as someone working 40 hours.
right.
It's practical. That's why. But when I'm there and I'm looking at some fat bitch from Idaho and she's asking me all these questions about the fucking tacos, and I want to put a gun in her mouth and paint a pretty picture behind her.
Wow, that's not.
No, it's funny.
That's a regular, normal response. Yeah. That's a regular, normal response from a server.
From a
actually.
server, yes. Because you see so many people, you judge them, whatever.
Yeah, no, but also like you feed like 10 good customers.
Yeah.
And then you get that one bad. I had one bad customer who's just like I didn't give him an extra dessert.
Yeah.
He was at a buffet. Like it was like a eat how much ever you want to.
Yeah.
And I didn't give him extra dessert. So in the credit card receipt that he got, he wrote that he's like, I'm not giving any tip because I didn't get extra dessert.
Yeah.
And I was like, I hope you get hit by a truck, man.
Yeah, I really do.
Like you make so much money.
But in that moment, you're like, I want to do this so little that
Exactly.
as soon as I'm done with this, I'm writing a joke.
Yeah.
I have to write a joke, and I got to go do a set.
Right.
Because otherwise, I'm just a loser who hates his job.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Is like that's what keeps us alive. Like the fact that we have stand up to look forward to. Like, oh, I can go and speak about this in front of other people. I can, and like a lot of times, like people will like diminish these things. It's like, yeah, obviously there are larger societal moments that you need to like speak about and like you need to be invested in. But like sometimes I'll just go like, I don't care about other things. Like sometimes people will tell me, hey, you should work towards having a family and like keeping them happy, and you should like quality time. And I'm like, after a certain while, conversations that's fucking dry, man.
Yeah.
Like my parents, like I would have other immigrant friends who were like, yeah, I speak to my parents like 3 times a day. I would call my parents like the first week. The first 3 days they were like, oh, this is exciting to see you around the city. And like by the 4th day they were like, just call us weekly, man. There's nothing to say.
Right.
What are you going to tell? Like, it's boring. I'm not going to speak to you like twice a day. What the fuck do I have to say?
What am I going to say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My parents are like that. My parents are like, just call us in a week. Like, it's like nothing's happening. If something's happening, you'll come to know about it. But otherwise, you don't need to keep me updated every hour. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Like my parents have been those people. They're like, yeah, I don't get people who speak to them.
You didn't call to tell them about the mangoes?
Oh yeah, I didn't. No, I was just like, no, because they would get like.
You're like, guys, we got mangoes every day. It's fucking crazy.
And they'll be like, yeah, this is fucked up. It's just like you're not supposed to.
They're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I saw like a
Do you wash 'em?
strawberry, like a baked strawberry the other day.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is a mutation. This is not.
Probably shouldn't eat this.
It's not regular. Like this is not the
You don't
strawberry.
it's what do they call it? Hyper something stimuli.
I don't know, man.
They did like a study with butterflies where
Yeah.
they changed the pattern of a monarch butterfly to look like something nature can't create. And then all the other butterflies were like flocking to it, and then they got rid of it, and the butterflies were like, we don't want to hang out with this other one that doesn't look the same.
Right.
So it's like us. It's like Doritos.
Yeah.
Where do Doritos grow? Nowhere.
Yeah.
But we see them, and then we're like, and you eat them, and you're like, I don't want a broccoli. What? I don't want a banana. You know, it's kind of that same thing.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I also like I think I've trained myself to think like that.
Yeah.
But I'm just like there is nothing like a fresh bag of Cheetos.
It is nice.
Like
it's
it is nice, but
Yeah.
it's like I'm not gonna be like, oh, there's some freshly made Cheetos. that I got.
freshly made
So,
Cheetos.
there's no
Could have
fresh.
been made months ago.
Do you want some piping hot Coke? There's no piping hot Coke
Yeah,
unless
yeah,
you
yeah.
snort it.
Sure.
But like
yeah.
Coke is
hot
not
off the streets.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't ever get fresh Coke.
They
That's-
just say it.
Yeah,
They do that. They make the
I know,
like,
right?
It goes over the ice. It crackles the ice. You're like, oh
Yeah.
man.
It's
Those
just like-
ASMR videos.
Yeah, I do that. I used to have whenever I had Coke.
Yeah.
Like over the past few years, I think I've also been like, you know what? I'm just going to, if the ad is what is selling me on it, I'm just going to recreate the ad.
Yeah.
So I would put like a cup of Coke. Like I would put like, get a cup and put like 8 ice cubes in it. And just like
Watch it.
a little bit of like Coke
Yeah,
in it.
yeah.
And that's enough. Like you
Yeah.
don't need more.
Sure.
You just, like, that's the thing. It's like, I look at Coke and like, there was like a fucking trend recently, like where people were keeping Coke in their freezer for a long time and they'd be like, oh, I'm gonna make it like crisper and fresher. I'm like,
You're just doing too much.
your life is fucking boring.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're
yeah,
trying
yeah.
to make Coke interesting. It's not interesting. Coca-Cola is not interesting beyond the age of 12. It's
That's
just
right.
Done.
That's right.
You're
the
done.
interest in it is done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And
now
if,
it's a novelty, just like anything else.
yeah, it's just like now you just go as an adult. If you buy Coke for like 8 days in a row,
Yeah.
the ninth day you're like, it's gone. Like I wanted to be an adult who can have Coke whenever he wants to.
Whenever, yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah.
That's done. It's just that's
Well, that's a rational, that's a rational person.
that's
Some people get addicted, just like anything else.
right. And some people, I've met some people who don't drink
Yeah.
water in this country. I'm like, y'all
Yeah, they actually repulse to the
that's
idea.
fucked
Like,
up.
water doesn't taste good.
Yeah, that's just insane. Like that's the thing. It's like when people
Like
say
liquid death water.
Liquid death water, though, brought it back.
liquid, like that's the thing. It's like I don't get those people who say water doesn't taste good.
Yeah.
That sentence itself.
How
that's,
privileged.
Oh my god! I just
Yeah.
want them to go to the global south.
Yeah.
Just be in these places where there's no liquid of it. And that's the thing. It's like we speak about the global south as like, oh, they don't have resources. Then who takes them?
Right, of
Right?
course.
It's 7.7 billion people suffering, so 300 million can live in peace. That's what I thought.
Not just peace, fucking excess.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
That's what I thought
Yeah.
before I came to America. And I'm like, wait a second. 299 million people are still suffering.
Yeah, it's very true.
Like
Very true.
someone the other day, they were like, they showed people like a bunch of food that they got on food stamps. Okay. And there's a lot of chips and like bags of chips and Coke and all of those things. And like that's the thing. It's like everyone who commented, there's so many people who commented on it and they were like, oh, you're on food stamps and you're having shitty food. No wonder you're on food stamps. It's like, so a person is not supposed to indulge
Yeah.
in things
If it exists.
if they're poor.
Yeah.
What?
If it exists, I mean, what the fuck?
It's the whole argument against coffee. It's like, oh, you have $6 cappuccinos a day. If you save that money, you could. It's like, so you want me to go drag my ass
Yeah.
half asleep throughout the day,
Yeah.
not have coffee, like how, and then go to work. You think I'm gonna have a job
Yeah.
for 30 days if I don't
Right.
bring coffee?
Right. Yeah.
Coffee is what's making me do your shitty minimum wage fucking job.
Button pushing. Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah,
right? It's
exactly.
button pushing.
Yeah.
And it's the idea of the minimum wage has also been created. Like it's the again, like a lot of my information comes from TikTok, and,
Valid.
and like a lot of these influencers,
Chinese.
they make a lot of sense, man.
Yeah.
Like, but that's the thing. It's like they say, like an aware public that has time for leisure asks questions,
Yes.
and that's not good for people in power.
Yeah. Very
like,
true.
If I went and I was like, hey man, where are my taxes going? The answer to that would be, you're paying fucking $200 in taxes. Who gives a shit about? It's like,
Yeah.
but it's not the money I'm contributing though. So if that doesn't matter, then
why are you taking it from me?
yeah,
in the
if
first place?
yeah, exactly. Then
Yeah.
if I ever jumped a turnstile, why isn't public transportation free? It's just $3,
Yeah, exactly.
right? It's just
If you're going to use the "it's just" excuse, it's both sides.
it's both sides of the issue.
Back to like we were talking about serving.
Yeah.
When you look at the thing and they're like, oh, you're like, oh, they skipped me $5.
Yeah.
Well, if it's not that big of a deal, then
Exactly.
why didn't they just leave it? You
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
Exactly. Why
Yeah.
don't you just leave? Like, if that's not a big deal,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, you're working a shitty minimum wage job.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm okay. You're a more contributing member of society by what? What the money you make? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Fine. If I have just such a shitty job, then why do you take my service? Like, why?
Yeah.
Why do you need the
What
service?
if we all stopped making your coffees?
Yeah.
Then what? Yeah.
That I'm just like that has to be like a collective. I don't know when it is going to happen. But that has
knows?
I'm waiting for
We
that.
got to shed. We need AI. We got to shed the monkey brain
But that's the thing. It's
and
like
bring in a fucking objective machine.
I keep telling people that if they develop AI, if they develop a machine where they go, you know what we need from most human beings? It's just their bones and skin.
Yeah.
And like if we just crush them and got oil from them, that's all we need from
Yeah.
them. We don't need them anymore for any more services. They would do it.
Oh yeah.
They would like, and that's
And
the
rightfully so. We suck.
And
Turn
the-
us to oil.
The fucked up thing about this is that they would get a minimum wage employee
Yes.
to drive that bus.
Yes.
That puts other people in.
That's right.
They would get minimum wage cops.
And they'll be very happy to do that job.
Yeah, they're
Like,
like,
it's a
oh,
job."
I'm not dying.
Yeah, exactly.
It's, yeah, it's the excuse that people at the Nuremberg trials used.
Sure.
I was just doing my job.
Yeah, exactly. Just doing my job.
It's just weird, man. The world we live in is just, it makes no rational sense.
Sure. We don't make any sense. We're monkeys.
Are we?
We're high grade monkeys, I think, you know?
Yeah, it's just like we're meant to eat, sleep, and fuck.
Everything else is background fucking music.
Exactly, right? It's just a distraction.
All right, sir. Let's wrap this fucker up. This has been great.
This has been great. I hope I talked enough sense.
You did. You talked a lot. You talked like
I
that was
too much.
perfect. Definitely not too much. I don't think you could say you talk too much on a podcast.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's just like someone, if they stumble upon this episode, it'll just be playing in the background while
Yeah.
they're dusting their.
Which is good. That's what I did earlier to clean this fucking room.
Oh, really?
Yeah, put the podcast on.
Yeah, my room has never been this clean. I have
It's
to-
only this clean on the recording days. That's pretty much it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I leave it a mess, and then on recording day, it's like, let's
I gotta
make this
clean.
place. Yeah, that's why I had the candle lit and everything. It smelled
Yeah,
nice.
I know that.
Yeah.
I was like, are you trying to talk to me or fuck me?
Where can people find you, sir? Instagram, all the other shit.
Instagram.
Yeah.
I am on TikTok. Till it exists. It's am such an ass.
Nice.
Because
makes sense.
Those are my initials.
Yes.
Like I'm such an S. Right. Srinivasan is my last name.
Yes.
So I go by am such an ass.
Yeah.
Because I thought that was funny.
Which, by the way, the other day when you asked me, it was Monday, to put your name on the list, I just
Yeah.
put your first name.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck, I don't know I don't know his last name.
It's difficult. I get it.
yeah.
I get it. It's like difficult to pronounce.
Yeah.
But it's my dad's name.
Oh, gotcha.
So in the south in India,
Gotcha.
you go by your first name and then you put your dad's name.
Yes.
So I'm from there.
Right,
and
right.
that's where you can find me. This was great. Thank you so much for having me.
You
on
bet.
your
Yeah.
podcast.
We'll do it again.
I would love
This
to
was
do
easy.
it again. Let's do it next Tuesday.
Yeah. We'll do our own podcast.
Every week, just the same episode.
Yeah.
I'll wear the same shirt so I can like blend with the couch.
That's
as well.
right. That's right. And we'll start the conversation talking about. We talked about porn at the beginning, right? That's what it was.
That was
Fluffers.
great.
Fluffers.
That was a great
That'll be
start.
the name of the podcast.
We'll
Fluffers.
get you a fluffer next episode.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Just like I'm talking and this guy goes.
All right, gang. Thank you all so much for listening. We'll talk to you next week. Peace.